video I'm going to tell you the chord symbol names for seventh chords. We looked at chord symbol names for triads. We observed how you identify the names for the triads, and now today I'm going to do the same thing for the various seventh chords that we've looked at. So I've written up here the 5 types of seventh chords, in this case starting on the note F, and we have a major major seventh, a major minor seventh, a minor minor seventh, a half diminished seventh, or the diminished minor seventh, and the fully diminished seventh, or the diminished diminished seventh. Again, if you don't understand what I've written up here, you need to go to the video before this so that you understand the concept of seventh chords and how to derive their names and why these are the most common ones that we encounter. Now, what I'm going to do today is add to this the chord symbols that you would see that would represent these chords. If I wanted to, in a shorthand way, put a chord symbol down that would tell the performer to play these notes or these notes, what would that chord symbol look like? Well, here we go. This is what they would look like. The major major seventh would look like this. F, that tells you it's F major. That's referring to the triad. And then a symbol for the type of seventh. And the triangle is a very commonly used symbol to say that the seventh is major. So that is telling you, it's kind of like it's in two parts. It's telling you it's an F major triad with a major seventh. So that is the F major major seventh chord. Now, the next one is the major minor seventh. So it looks like this, F7. Now, when you have a 7 on its own, that means minor. It is the most commonly used type of seventh chord. So rather than have extraneous symbols like triangles or whatever it might mean, it seemed to make most sense with the most common seventh chord to just say if you have a seventh on its own, let's say it's minor. It means it's minor. If it's different from that, we'll mark it. But we're going to be writing this one a lot. Let's just keep it simple. And so the F, again, refers to the triad, F major triad. The seventh on its own means it's a minor seventh. So in this case, F to E flat. That creates a minor seventh. So F major minor 7. If you saw the symbol F7, that would mean it was an F major minor 7 chord. You would have to construct the right notes to have an F major minor 7 chord. The next one is minor minor. This one would have F, and because the triad is minor, it would say F minor. That's just like we'd had for the chord symbols for the triads. That part is just describing the triad, F minor. Now it's a minor 7. Remember that for a minor 7, you just put 7 on its own. So F minor refers to the triad, and the 7 on its own means it's a minor 7. So that's F minor, minor 7. This refers to the 7th, and it's on its own, it means minor. This refers to the triad. Makes sense, I hope, so far. Now, it gets a little bit more tricky with the 2 diminished chords, so bear with me here. The next one then would be F diminished. That's the triad. And then 7, or minor 7, right? This circle refers to the F, and it says that the F triad is diminished. This 7 on its own refers to the 7th and tells you that it's minor. So that's F diminished minor 7, which is half diminished 7. That's the name we have, the other name we have for the diminished minor 7. And then the last one, the fully diminished, looks like this. F diminished, 7 diminished. Telling you that both the triad is diminished and the 7 is diminished. So we have a diminished diminished, a diminished triad and a diminished 7, making a diminished diminished or fully diminished 7 chord. So we have F diminished diminished 7. And that's the symbol for it. Now, I said it's going to get a little confusing. This is great. This is consistent. Everything seems to work. The first part of this refers to the triad. The second part refers to the 7th. And it's consistent all the way through. Great, eh? Everything's right. We feel good about it. And there's no problems with that. And If you understand that much, then great, and maybe you should stop the video here, but there is one other slight complication with this, and it is worth noting because you will encounter it, and I think you'll encounter it enough that I really do need to go over it. So bear with me. It centers around these two here, the last two. Sometimes these are noted a little differently from this. I like this because it's so consistent. What you sometimes see for the half diminished 7 is F, circle with a slash through it, 7. I suppose this is getting at the idea that it's half diminished, you know, like you would write half with a slash like that. And it's somehow lifting this part of that symbol and putting it in the middle and saying we're slashed it in half, we've slashed the little circle in half, so it means half diminished. Maybe that's what it means. Whatever it means, wherever it came from, whoever was thinking, whatever they might be thinking when they came up for it, this is what we're sometimes stuck with. There's nothing wrong with it, you just need to know that if you have this, it means the same as that. The other thing then is that means when you have a fully diminished 7, you take the slash away. Now here's the confusion. That looks like that. Depending on the placement of the 0 and of the 7, this starts to look very similar. And that's why you have to keep it in mind. If the book you are using to read your notation from, or if the person who's written out the charts for you to play from, if they're using this system, then this symbol is going to mean fully diminished. If, however, they're using this system, then this symbol will mean fully diminished and this symbol will mean half diminished. That's why I said it was confusing. In class, I honestly don't mind which you use. You can use it, but you've got to use it consistently, or you can use this and use it consistently. It may start to get a little confusing, but I'm afraid that's the real world. So some of these things are not clear-cut, they're not clean, they don't always follow exactly like we would like them to one way or another. So we're going to kind of go with the flow and see what we can figure out with that. You need to understand there's the possibility of some confusion here and the possibility of some symbols that mean different things but look similar. And we're just going to kind of go with that for a while and see how we do. But bottom line, those are the chord symbols. Here are some possible alternates. Make sure you understand these, make sure you have it all in your mind, and we'll move forward from here employing these as we understand their usage in real context and in actual music.